Hi, good evening sa ating lahat dyan sa Pilipinas. And again, I am Coach Boy Delara for another episode of our Never Settle series that is awakening to the life that you truly deserve. Okay, so pang-apat or pangatlong episode na natin ito. And this is about the human givens theory. So, pag sinabing human givens, sila yung mga kailangan pa natin. Bukod dun sa mga physiologic needs na kailangan natin, di ba? The human beings have like an inherent set of needs to motivate and drive our thoughts and behaviors throughout our life. And we have physiologic needs like food or water, shelter, clothing, um, we also have a need for warmth and all other physiologic needs that we have. Pero bukod dun sa needs na yun, we also have a set of more complex needs na kadalasan we take for granted. So, um, if you take those for granted, like uh, the emotional needs na kailangan natin, right? We tend to become more susceptible to debilitating emotions such as depression or anxiety and procrastination. So, um, the emotional needs are far more complex than the physiologic needs. Um, and they're less instinctual. So, minsan hindi natin napapansin na hindi pala natin na-meet yung needs na yon than our physical needs, diba? Kasi pag physical needs, nagugutom tayo. So, wala tayong food, hindi natin nararamdaman natin sila. Or wala tayong shelter, wala tayong clothing. Alam natin yun. Pero these needs, yung human givens, is masasabi ko, we should pay more attention to uh, sa ating buhay so that we know if we are getting what we deserve in life or we just settle. Pag sinasabi kong we're just settling is kontento na tayo doon and we shouldn't be like that. We should always um, know what we lack in our lives so we know the areas of our lives that we could uh, focus on. Okay? So, magsimula tayo dun sa ating human givens theory. So, first, we've got about 9 human givens or needs na kailangan natin ma-fulfill. First is security. Without a safe environment, we can become dominated by intrusive, fearful thoughts um, which would negatively influence our behavior and our ability to think rationally, which results in us becoming anxious, aggressive, and stressed. Okay? So kapag hindi tayo secure dun sa environment natin, it would give us stress and anxiety. Diba? Kasi naranasan nyo na bang magpunta kayo sa isang space that you're not secured? Diba? Naranasan nyo na bang magkaroon kayo ng partner na hindi kayo secured. Di ba palagi kayong napapraning, palagi kayong paranoid, palagi tayong nag-aalala kung ano yung gagawin nila. Or paraging ganon. Di ba? So, ang mangyayari is we also, that's actually the second need sa Maslow, di ba? Safety and security. After meeting those physiologic needs. So, I have like 3 sets of questions for you and for your journal. Kung meron na kayong journal ngayon, those people who are watching this series, if you have a journal, just write down your answers as honestly as possible. All right. And again, if you are watching on replay, please comment hashtag replay. Um, and comment your suggestions or answers. Kung gusto ninyong i-share, you can also comment those answers. Now, the first question for security is how secure do you feel in all major areas of your life? For example, sa home, sa work, sa environment ninyo, in your relationships, and those areas. So we also discussed the 3 major areas of our life. Or no, sorry, the 7 major areas. I think it's in a One Life group discussion, but it's also available in YouTube. All right. You can always focus on that, like the work, Your career, educational, your financial, the physical well-being, diba? So we also have those life areas. So how secured are you when it comes to your relationships, your work, your home, and such? Okay. Second question is, are there any areas of your life that are negatively impacting or resisting your personal growth? If so, what are they? So, meron bang mga area sa buhay ninyo na medyo naho-hold yung growth ninyo? And bakit? What's stopping you? Right? Third, what changes could you make today which would either remove or reduce the influence of these negative factors in your life? So, paano ninyo marireduce yung stress nyo when it comes to that? What can you do? What would you rather have? Diba? So, I hope everything is clear about security. So, if you have questions, you could always send me a private message regarding that, and I'll help you work on these questions and how to answer them truthfully and within yourselves. Next, second human givens is the attention. Giving and receiving attention is essential for establishing communication and a shared sense of reality between people, right? So the attention that we receive from our behaviors influence our growth and development, and the attention we give helps inspire the motives and behaviors of others. Diba? So if we are inside a relationship, right? The other people give us feedback and give attention to the things that we do. Sometimes they support, sometimes they bash. It really, um, it really, it really gives us that sense of uh, fulfillment. If, for example, you're getting enough attention, diba? So the question is, do you feel that you receive enough attention from other people, from your desired audience, if you're like a social influencer, from your family, from your boss? Do you feel that you are being noticed? Do you feel that you're seen? Diba? Second, do you think that you give enough attention to other people? This is quite a challenge to answer, right? Because um, what what attracts our attention? What makes you attentive to other people? Sometimes people need us. Sometimes people want to talk to us, right? But are you giving 100% attention to those people who are in need, or to those people, or to that person who needs you at that specific moment? Diba? So, do you fulfill that need, and do you fulfill others' need for attention? Right. Third, what changes could you make today to better meet this need to receive and give attention in your life? So, the need is either to give or to receive attention, right? It's both ways. It gives both ways. You're a giver and you're a taker. Do you think that you fulfill those needs? Next, autonomy. When you say autonomy, like autonomy gives us a sense of freedom to make decisions and take control of our own life. Autonomy allows us to feel in control of ourselves and what happens around us, which is essential for times when life feels chaotic. This is my favorite question. What role did you play in the current situation of your life right now? Diba? If you want to have freedom, how will you exercise that freedom? How would you want to be free? How do you want to be autonomous? Right? Do you feel in control of your life's choices most of the time? Or do you feel held back? Do you feel that somebody's controlling you? Do you feel that you're not in control of your life? If you feel that you're not in control of your life, maybe you're not, right? And empowerment breeds or is bred by responsibility. So, who owns your life, right? Who is in control? Who's supposed to be in control of your life? What would you like in life that you have not yet taken full responsibility for working towards? Hmm. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? And why haven't you met them yet? Right? And what haven't you done or what did you do? Right? And, you know, how do you take full responsibility of your life? Third, what changes can you make today to take a greater degree of responsibility for attaining these things in your life? Yeah. What are the steps to go from your present state to your desired state? So, what are the steps to reach that? And you always have to remember that the power is yours. Nasa sa inyo yun. Diba? If you want to be free, if you want to grow, take responsibility for your life. Every single bit of your life, your thoughts, your actions, your inactions, your feelings, those are solely your responsibility and no one else. Fourth, that is emotional intimacy, experiencing unconditional love from even just one person in life allows for an individual to experience being at peace with who they are. It's like validating, diba? This intimacy not only makes an individual feel supported, but also accepted for who they are intrinsically and ultimately makes them more secure in being their true authentic self. So, tandaan ninyo, if we all have needs to be intimate and to be loved by somebody, and alam ko naman na lahat tayo nagmahal na, di ba? So, if those emotional intimacy or emotional connection is met, right, it gives us the sense of support and we ultimately feel good about ourselves. But always remember that you don't have to sacrifice your authenticity for connection at times or most of the time. Lalong-lalo na when it comes to romantic partnerships, right? So, if you choose somebody to be with for the rest of your life, that somebody should be unconditional accepting of you because nobody could afford to be inauthentic for the rest of their lives, right? Nobody it's very lonely, it's very sad, right? To be inauthentic just for you to connect with other people, especially if it's in a long term relationship that you're having. Okay? So please, please be authentic with yourselves, all right? Somebody out there would unconditionally accept you, somebody out there would unconditionally love you, and somebody out there is meant for you. So, these are the questions. I have two questions for intimacy so that you could check your the status of your relationships, right? Do you have an emotional connection with others? It could be a close friend or an intimate partner, right? Someone who completely accepts you physically and emotionally for who you are. So, the caliber of our lives depends on the caliber of the relationships that we keep, according to Kane Ramsey. So, um, this is the right time for you to assess your connection or your relationships, diba? And to um, you always have to assess your relationships from time to time. Right? So, second, what changes can you start what changes can you start making today that would help strengthen emotional connections you have with others? So if you feel like you're not really connecting emotionally or the caliber of your relationships is not that meaningful as we want them to be, all right? What changes can you start making today? All right. So those are the two questions for intimacy. All right. I hope I'm not doing or not going very fast over here. Um, Hi to Talia Bard. Nice message, Sir Poi. Hi, thank you for watching. And it's always a pleasure to help you guys out. Just stick with me for quite some time here. Hi. Um, the fifth, the fifth after intimacy is the community. So we all need to have a sense, or we all need to have a community. We all have to connect with people, right? Building relationships outside of our immediate family is an evolutionary human behavior which we can credit to the development of our contemporary societies, organizations, and teams, right? It is actually a need to be a part of some community. It is actually a need to be a part of something bigger, right? Whilst the past groups and tribes were beneficial for hunting and protection purposes, organization, um, loneliness are still a deadly experience for them, right? For people in the modern world, an experience which can be avoided, um, yeah, through encouragement and implementation of a stronger community spirit. So you need to be a part of a certain group. May it be like a group of three, like you have three friends, it's a group. You need to have community involvement. You need to know your neighbors, right? You need to. It's always healthy to communicate with people outside your family because you'll never know. You'll get the same perspective, a different perspective in life. You would need a breather, right? Sometimes sa bahay it could be really really tough, right? You need some place to vent into. You could go to a gym, and you could go to um, a community center, for example, and socialize with people there. All right. So, um, these are the questions for the community needs. Do you feel connected in some way to a wider community? Are you part of a community? Two, in what ways are you playing a role in something that is greater than yourself? For example, if you're a member of one life group, have you ever contributed in a certain way? How could you contribute in one life? By posting comments, um, by posting your thoughts, right? By asking questions, you can communicate or you can help in that way because you'll never know, diba? We don't know what we don't know. So you never know how are you helping other people just by telling stories about yourself, right? So, third, what changes can you make today to improve your connection to a wider community? Would you start going out? Would you start um would you start building your own group? Would you start building your own support group? Would you start posting comments or asking questions in one life group or in any other groups that you're part of? Are you start would you start creating initiatives too? Diba? So what changes can you do? Now, if we have a community, if you have a set of friends, if you have a set of um, close relationships, we also should value privacy. So that's the six human givens. Po, pag sinabi kong human givens, these are like the most basic needs that we should have mula pa nung unang-una, right? So privacy in an increasingly busy and noisy world where one can be easily swept away by societal expectations, taking time away from everything to be alone with their own thoughts and reflect upon their own true desires and motives helps keep an individual on track with their own life path and keep honest with themselves and behavior. Diba? Hindi lahat ay ipopost natin sa social media. You need some time alone. You need a breather. Diba? Sometimes we also need an alone time to us to reconnect with our thoughts, for us to reconnect with the truth within ourselves. Sometimes we forget, diba? Um, if the world goes too fast, we have work, we have house chores to do, and the world is ever so dynamic that you can't keep up. Sometimes you just need to be grounded within yourselves. These are the questions now. Do you have adequate time and space apart from others to reflect and contemplate your life experiences? Yeah. So, do you have adequate time? Do you have adequate alone time? Do you spend some time with yourself? Okay. Next is, what changes can you make today to create more time and space for your own self reflection? So, what are those changes that you can make? Um, you could go out to the beach for like once a week. You can go walking. Um, Me personally, my reflection time is when I walk, diba? To and from work, I walk to the bus stops about like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So I get about 30 minutes of alone time. All right. And those are the times that I ask myself, uh, what will I do? Or what changes do I need in my life? Which area of my life do I need to focus on? Sometimes I just walk and breathe and um, enjoy the air and the sun over my face. So you need an alone time. Everybody needs an alone time. All right. And lahat ng nasa isip natin, we don't have to blurt it out in social media. Okay? Our relationships, we don't need to blurt it out in social media. Keep your life private. Keep your life private. It's a need. All right? You have to create your own little space para sa sarili mo lang, just to get out of this busy world. Okay? Right. Next, since kailangan natin ng privacy then, we also need status. Knowing where we stand in a community, may it be professional or personal, helps us evaluate our own value and determine whether or not we are respected and treated appropriately and how we deserve it. So we need to check from time to time where we stand, 'di ba? Sa mga tao, paano tayo, how do they see us, 'di ba? Status helps us feel secure within our circles and helps us assess the sense of belonging, and how at risk we are of being excluded or left behind. So, saan ba ako nakatayo sa'yo? Di ba? Minsan, ganun yung tanong natin, hindi ko na alam kung saan ako lulugar sa'yo. Di ba? Minsan, nagtatanong na tayo ng ganun. Bakit tayo nagtatanong ng ganun? Because we don't know. We don't check our status. We don't assess where we stand. And we don't assess where we go. So, what we're doing right now is we also have to check from time to time. Where do we stand? For privacy, like, do you have adequate time and space apart from others to reflect naman, to reflect your, to reflect, sorry, it's for your status. Do you feel that you are acknowledged by others? Diba? Do you feel that um, do you feel that you are valued by others? And what changes can you meet today to better meet your desire for status in life? All right. So those are the questions that you need to answer regarding that. Next is competence. What is competence? Like, we may isolate ourselves from communities and opportunities in life if we are crippled by feelings of inadequacy. So sometimes we feel that we're inadequate with the things that we do in our lives, low confidence and low self esteem, which largely arise when we believe ourselves incompetent, or unskilled, right? Unknowledgeable and unsuccessful. So sometimes when we assess our lives like every day, sometimes what we do is, okay. Sometimes what we do is we sometimes take it into, it takes a toll on us, right? If we feel that we're incompetent or unskilled, so sometimes we just stop trying, right? Without confidence in our skills and competence, we become less resilient to life's changes. So minsan we cannot cope. Why? Because we're incompetent. We always say, I cannot do that, I cannot grow, I cannot learn. It's very, very hard for me to do that, right? So those are the things that you have to check on how you see yourself, right? And you always have to improve yourself. Why? Because if you improve yourself, you grow. If you learn a new thing every day, you grow. If you don't grow, right? If you stop growing, you start decaying, right? So we always have to have room for improvement and competence for each and everyone's. So the three questions that I have for competence is to also write this down in your notebooks. Do you feel that you're using your expertise or talent to add value in at least one area of your life? In what ways could you begin using your expertise and talent to add value to other people? Right? In what ways? Can you help other people with your skills and talents and whatnot? Third, do you feel competent in any area of your life? What changes could you start making today to become an expert in at least one area? Right? So, kung mapapansin niyo, if you would ever notice, um, every last question, I always ask, what changes are you willing to start today to improve that area of your life or to meet that need or to meet that given? Why? Because if you fully assess your life, you will know what you need and what you don't, right? If you're able to answer those questions, then you would know what you need. I promise you, you would know. Nobody is an expert in your life but you. Not me. Hindi ko masasabi. I can't say uh, what you need in your life right now. The only person that could uh, answer that question for you and what you need is yourself, right? You are the expert of your life. And I acknowledge that. Now, let's say that we have security, attention, autonomy, intimacy, we have a community, you're getting as much privacy as you need, you are grounded with where you stand, you have a status, you are confident, you're competent, right? Um, Next, this is the last human given or need that we need to fulfill. And this is very, very important for me, the meaning and purpose. So, having a purpose in life challenges us mentally and physically and gives us a rationale for existing in our community and society in general. So, why am I here? Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I existing? Why am I still living? If you believe in God, why did God put me here? What's my purpose? Right? It helps us it helps take us out of ourselves so that we frame our behaviors and actions into a bigger picture where we become part of something greater than ourselves. What do we become? What do you want to be part of? And how would you leave this place a better place than when you came? Diba? What will be your legacy? How will you want to be remembered by your friends? How would you want to be uh how would you want to be remembered? How would you want to be known? How would you want to uh this is kind of morbid, but how would you want your friends to remember you and your family to remember you once you're gone? What's your meaning and purpose in this life? Right? So, two questions for meaning and purpose is are you being mentally or physically challenged in ways which you make that you feel that life is meaningful? So, are the things that you're doing, diba, it does it give meaning to your life, or How old are you today? Have you found your purpose? Have you found the things that you really want to do? Have you found the way on how you want to contribute one way or another? Have you answered those? And what could you commit today which would bring a greater degree of meaning and purpose into your life? Diba? It doesn't have to be really big, right? You can tell yourself to send out a hello or a kumusta ka message to 10 old friends that you haven't talked with for quite some time. Diba? Who knows? You might make a difference. You might touch somebody else's life. You can give bread to people, to hungry people in the streets, 'di ba? Every birthday, 'di ba? Minsan may kakilala ko, if it's their birthday, they give out, 'di ba? They give out food. It doesn't need to be really expensive, right? And you can have bread or sandwiches, give it out to them. Or if it's Christmas time, you can give like old clothes or toys to charities and people. Right? It doesn't have to be big. You just have to sharing yourself with other people gives you meaning and purpose. So, if you're acquainted with yourself, if you're grounded, if you think that you're meeting this human givens, right? And if you're getting them as well, that means that you're getting the life that you deserve. Okay? So don't forget, you need security, you need attention, you need autonomy, you need intimacy, you need a community, you need to connect with other people, you need privacy as well. You need to check where you stand, you need to have a status. You need to improve yourself continuously and be competent with your craft. And you need to have a meaning and purpose. Now, if you do have questions regarding this framework, right, I am very much willing to help everybody and to answer those questions. Just send me a private message, all right, and I'll help you through in answering these questions so we can uh, or I can show you how to or I can guide you on the things that you want to work on with your life. Again, this is Coach Boy. Right, next week we're going to uh, tackle the last part of our Never Settle series, right, and that would conclude that series as well. So hopefully you join me next week same time and 9 p.m. Manila time, right? And I would want to thank everybody. This video would be available on YouTube as well, right? So get ready with your journal, answer those questions. You don't need to answer them like in one whole sitting. You can answer those questions one day at a time until you reach another Sunday. And I'll always be here for you and never ever settle. Right? Have a good night, guys.